Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be all about Ferragamo. In Milan Fashion Week, they released their fall, I always get this wrong because fashion is so far ahead, but fall winter 23 collection. And they had some new archive pieces come out. So new versions of archive vintage bags come onto the runway. And so I wanted to update you all on the Wanda and the double bag a little bit more, as well as talk to you about some of the other new styles that are coming out and some styles that I didn't actually quite realize were already available on the website that are basically spitting images of archive bags. And the reason I'm telling you this is because these archive bags are so inexpensive. Some of them are under $100, $200, some of them go up a little bit more, but compared to the current versions, they're so similar and they're so much less expensive. Plus you're getting vintage, plus it's more sustainable. There are so many reasons to buy them. So these are the Ferragamo bags you should buy vintage right now. So a quick update on the Wanda bag. I showed you all my little Wanda bag that's vintage in my previous video, which I will link down below. And in that video, I talked to you about how the newer version seemed to look almost exactly the same as this. Well, it basically does. And the Wanda is now available on the website. So it's the only one, I believe, from the last collection, spring summer, that is available now, but it is. And so you can go and see the new one, and I will link that down below. And you can see it basically looks exactly the same. The North, South, and East, West versions are also available now in store. So again, all of that will be linked down below. And for every bag that I show you the new version of, I will also be linking some vintage alternatives that I already scouted, and I have great finds for amazing prices. So those will be in the description box as well. I wasn't sure that it was actually going to be called the Wanda, so I'm happy to say that it is now called the Wanda on the website, which is great. The double bag, however, was not yet available on the website, but seems to be available for pre-order through sales associates because Cassie, I don't feel like I need to introduce Cassie. I think you all know who she is. Cassie's mom just got one, and Cassie was visiting her and sent me a video of the bag and gave me permission to share it with you all. So I'm going to show you that bag now. As you can see, if you watched my previous video, you can see it looks almost exactly the same. The only differences that I can tell, and it depends on the size of the vintage one because the insides look different and some of the different sizes, but otherwise the only difference that I can tell is that it has the very subtle Ferragamo logo on the front in the middle, that top part. Otherwise, it basically looks exactly the same. Now, they do seem to be calling this something different this time around, which makes sense because the double bag is such a generic kind of name, but I believe they're now calling it the Raffaello. I think that's right. So I will link that down below as well because it is available on Luisa Via Roma and maybe one other place. So I will have those down below, and again, a bunch of vintage versions, but the largest vintage version is the same size as the current one. So next up, one that I didn't even realize so much, like I saw it on the website and I was like, oh, that's a vintage version, but I hadn't put two and two together that it's basically exactly the same, is the Diana clutch. So the Diana clutch is just, it's super simple. You can see the new version here. I have seen these go for as low as $25 on the pre-loved market. Like, they are all over the place. Now, granted, a lot of them are in a box leather. They're not in the most perfect shape. They've got a little battering going on, but sometimes that is what makes it special and vintage and shows that it's lived a life, you know? So they are great bags, and you can find them in different colors, different materials, all over the vintage market. So absolutely worth it. For almost $2,000 new, you can easily find that $300 vintage. This one I actually did see in store. I didn't get a video of it, sorry, but the Trifolio shoulder bag is a nice take on the Trifolio series. And I didn't even realize at first because the proportions are slightly different in the current one, that I have seen that bag a ton of times all over the vintage market. The vintage ones seem to be a little bit taller than the shoulder bag. They've kind of made it a little bit more of a more current shape, but because it's from the same time period that all of our fashion is throwing back to right now, it is basically the same bag. And you can get a few different versions of it, but you can find them for so inexpensive, and they're usually in great shape on the pre-loved market. They've also brought back the Ferragamo little mini backpack, which is a vintage kind of classic. That one has come back a few different times and looks so cute. They are slightly different proportions for this one. This one is a little bit different, but it's basically the same bag. And so I will link some vintage versions again in the description box. And then as always, right, this is my favorite. It is a specific take on the classic top handle. It is not the exact same one that they're selling right now. They're selling the most classic version, that first edition of it. And my favorite edition was a little bit later, but it is still vintage. You can find so many top handles for so much less on the vintage market though. They're so beautiful. I love that bag. It's classic. And the fact that that has now been a staple on the website for a few years is a very good indication that they might even release it in some of the other editions in the future. The last bag that I'm going to show you is actually one that I have arriving in the mail later today. So I am going to cut away to that. It's coming at you like 8 hours later. So sorry for the haggard stale makeup and the different lighting, but I did want to show you this bag that just arrived. It does have some staining on it. I am going to try to fix that up. I took a little leather conditioner to it and some came out. This bag, I don't know what it was called. So this is a vintage bag, or at least an older bag, and I don't know exactly what it was called, and I don't know what they're going to call it, but this exact bag, pulled from the archive, was in the runway show, and so I'm excited about it. They also have a super exaggerated, oversized version, but it's so now. It makes complete sense why the creative director in a recent interview said that when he was deciding whether or not basically to accept the job, he spent 2 weeks completely going through the archive, trying to understand the history of the brand and the values of it and kind of what it represented. And he said what he discovered was that so many of the bags just looked like current bags. Like so many archival bags just fit with the aesthetic now, and that it would be super fun to bring them back. And so I completely see that. When I see this bag, it looks to me so much like the Trifolio, and I get it. I get totally why it would be in style right now. It's a shoulder bag. You know, I would probably wear it like this more. I could adjust the strap and make it slightly smaller or slightly longer, but it's supposed to be, you know, an over-the-shoulder bag. And my guess is it's probably going to say Ferragamo right here. Right now it says it in this teeny tiny lettering, and obviously it's a different font to write different logo right here. But I have a feeling the rest of it is going to look exactly the same. The back is plain. Has no feet, so maybe they would add that, but as a shoulder bag, I don't know that they would. And then the interior, you can't really even see it because it's black, but it has a little slip pocket. It has the old Ferragamo logo. Right here's what the tag looks like. Fabric inside has some, the lining has some Ferragamo kind of written around it, but it's really hard to see. I mean, honestly, I think it's going to look exactly the same. And again, you can find these for really inexpensive. They also have different size versions in the vintage archive. So we'll see if it's popular, if they come out with different styles and sizes, but kind of a cool bag. I've been looking for a white bag, and I thought I would just take the chance with this one. It's also very, very different for me than try it and be like, nope, this isn't me, but I thought it was worth giving it a shot. So that is it for this video. I am telling you, if you can get your hands on these vintage versions, you won't regret it, because clearly they are coming back, and Ferragamo is getting a lot of really good press right now. I think that they are on an upward trajectory to become more popular. I don't think that they've ever gone out of popularity with their target audience, but they're definitely trying to expand that to a younger audience. So I think they're gonna do it. I think they're continuing to ramp up, and people are getting excited about them. Really something to look forward to. I'm really excited to watch what happens with them. But yeah, take advantage of that vintage market if you can right now. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in a future video. Bye.